Konstanthopoulos and Josh Meakin come together in an incredible podcast, Grow, Scale, Master.
An energetic approach to drive progress, master skills, build strengths and put the strategy back into rapid business and personal success.
Backed by real-world experience in rapid scaling to playing the long-term game of business, it's the story of all the lessons learned on the journey to mastery.
Be inspired, renew your energy and chase the future with Grow, Scale, Master.
Con, I love this concept that you've got to become like one of the best in the world at what you do. And one of the things that's really challenging for people is that when you go on holidays and you go and have a quick look inside of your phone about screen time, did you or did you not increase the amount of social media or phone usage?
I did.
Okay, great.
I did.
And it got me thinking about how Hollywood's in trouble. Because consumers, and we did a test, right? So we took like what I think is a great coaching tip video for a minute and a half, and we put it on, and we had a quick look, and we put it on Instagram, and we watched its number of views, and then we put up a 15-second version of the same coaching tip, and the number of views was 7 times
higher.
Right?
Yeah.
So if one got 1,000, the other one got 7,000 views.
Yeah.
So we had a look at the coaching tip. The average watch time out of 1:30 was 13 seconds. and right forum, right product, right?
Yeah.
So it's obviously not the right product for the long form. But the basic idea here is to go and think that I'm actually going to challenge. I reckon that with the social media conversation, we now live in the world of entertainment.
Absolutely agree.
And entertainment has gone from the big screen to the tiny screen in your hand.
Josh, what are the pages that you and I follow religiously? The first one is the lawn guy.
Yes.
Is that not a form of entertainment?
Tim the lawnmower man.
Exactly. His whippersnipper.
I didn't know you were going to tell everyone that.
Is that not a form of entertainment?
Oh, absolutely.
When you're scrolling, wherever you are, in an airport or on the bathroom, whatever, toilet.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Tim and I'm like, how does he whippersnip those edges?
Yes.
And it's mesmerising.
Yeah.
If you go into my search on my Instagram, what are you going to see? Classic cars, houses, and food.
Yes.
Because I'm obsessed with those people that, they show you the finished product and then they show you how to cook it. I'm like, I can do that.
Oh, mate, you're quite the chef, though.
I am, thank you.
That's like, I've been very lucky to be able to come to your house.
So much, thank you.
And I say that's the thing is that there's a skill.
There is a skill, but you are right.
Mm-hmm.
The world's changed. And you know what? I have been one of those people that have resisted social, so I'm a stalker.
Sure.
Not a player.
Lurker, we call them.
Yeah. Well, okay, a lurker.
Lurker and a liker.
A lurker and a liker.
Yeah.
Now, I've realised I'm already late to the party.
Yes.
You must be on these platforms and you must be delivering relevant content, right? Because if you don't, people don't even know you exist. Forget the letterbox drop. Forget your website, forget your business card, even forget the signboard. I was in Austin, Texas a couple of months ago, right? There are driverless cars driving around with no people. And I thought, oh, wow, this is an Uber killer. And I was speaking to someone, he goes, nah, mate, it's got nothing to do with killing Uber. I said, what's it got to do? He goes, just stop and think about if someone can get driven around in an autonomous car, what are they doing more of? They're spending time more on their phones. So this is an advertising play. So the world we haven't even seen the impact of what's going to happen.
And the interesting thing, you get to watch little kids. I saw some, your New Year's Eve, right?
Yeah.
And lovely kids from your next door neighbours who happen to be there at the time. But as soon as they're given a phone, it's 4 or 5 hours of looking at content and watching videos and doing that stuff. And I was like, far out. But you know what? They know no different.
No.
And that's the thing that kind of got me. So when I start thinking a little bit about, what it is that you're doing, one of the things that I look at is that, first of all, okay, let's break down content.
Yep.
So I think that the best content that we've got in residential real estate is property-based content. Because we've got people love off-market, they love new listings, and they love sold results.
Yeah.
And that's never going to change.
Yeah.
Because if you're searching as a buyer, that's important. If you're a neighbour, that's important. Around the sold results, you get that.
Completely agree.
Market intel, so reading the play.
Yep.
What do we do around an election? Helping people to overcome fears. And so there's an old school thing that you teach in copywriting, but if you are this, then this, then this,
Yes.
right? So as an example, if you are in a position that you've just got married in the last 12 months, and you're looking at what could be a really good thing to be able to go and do for your anniversary, then you should consider these things.
Yes.
And because that's happened to you recently,
yes,
you'll look at that and go, oh yeah, okay, great. That's what I could do to really make sure I surprise my wife. So if you are thinking about selling your house, and even if you're not quite ready yet, and you're worried about whether or not you should sell before or after the election, and you don't know whether or not you should sell with auction or for sale, then call me now and I'll help you to work that
Perfect.
out.
Great.
And so what it does is it buys into the psyche of what are the questions that the customer's asking before the customer asks the question.
Yes.
So the secret to great social content is that what are all the questions that buyers and sellers tend to be asking you in your normal day-to-day interactions, at auctions, at opens, in callbacks, when you're speaking to people, generally in the community, when you're at the coffee shop, whatever the story is. Next one is then insights. So you've got this insight about, did you know about the number of people that are looking on the major real estate portals in January and blah, 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 blah. So then that's driven a whole range of things around Super Saturday for you. And then, and this is the bit that I think that we've completely missed now looking at Tim the Lawnmower Man and then Jason the pressure washer guy, is that we have not done before and after well.
I love that.
So I'm thinking about, like, you know, you've got, I don't know, nearly 2,000 transactions that you guys do a year.
Yeah.
And that's just in your sales business, let alone property management.
Yeah.
And then you go and have a look at that 2,000.
How many did we do renovations with? How many did
Right.
we, gardens, maintenance, styling?
And so your content strategy is not, and this is a hunch, and I'm making a guess here, but your content strategy is not right.
Correct.
Because the conversation is, like, imagine if we tried this where we said, okay, and the risk is I don't want to do it during the campaign.
No, because
we're too in the moment, right? So what I'm saying
Post-campaign.
so post-campaign, I want, like, Parramatta's best renos.
yeah,
As an example, is actually the Instagram handle.
yeah,
So it's actually, respectfully, not McGrath.
Yeah, correct.
It's Parramatta's
Yeah.
best home renos.
Yeah.
And the long story short is it's like before and after with video, whatever. And now we're going through the property. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to do it. Short form film, whatever the content, you know, like pieces. And then, like, literally, and then here's the result. But that doesn't actually make it to social until the property's already sold and potentially even settled.
yeah, correct.
And so it's a bit of a longer term strategy and play.
It's very smart, though, because you're now behaving in a very different way than what every other real estate agent in that market's doing.
Mate, so I'm old now. I remember Burke's Backyard.
Oh, I loved Burke's Backyard.
You know, like that whole conversation around renovation shows.
That's right.
Then the block and all this other stuff that's actually happened.
Right.
Have we missed it? Like, as an industry, by not thinking about that as being
I think we've missed it because I think when we look at real estate and social, the audience that a lot of our agents are catering to is other agents. And that's just ego and, you know, wanting to be able to make sure that they're playing at their level or a level. The reality is that, you know, the digital interviews occurring every single day, Domain, REA, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, newspapers if it's in your market, letterbox drops, you know, signboards, the whole lot. So I think we have missed it. I think we're not providing enough value. I've been starting to follow there's a couple of commercial guys in Sydney and they do really good content.
Yeah.
They're talking about investment strategy. They're talking about reading
previous transactions.
That's exactly right. They're talking about yields and returns and growth.
Yeah.
You know, there's even one other one. There's a lot of real estate, you know, things that are popping up at the moment on Insta in particular. And there was the best flips in 2024, and I was like, oh, okay, what's that? And it's one that it doesn't have a lot of followers, like 5,000 at the moment, but I reckon by the end of the month it'll be 50.
Yeah.
And you know what it was? This house in Bellevue Hills sold in 2021 for 24.5 million and flipped this year, 2024, for 80. And you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't think we've got the story right.
So the thing for me is I think about sharing and collaboration. So what I've seen some really good things do across industry is that, like, I might come in and do a training session and they'll film that training session. But then what will then happen is that video will be live before I even leave the actual training session. But then it will then be shared across different accounts of other co-directors, leaders inside of the business over the course of the next 72 hours. So that's actually kept alive more than just that one post through separate accounts. Collaborations, which are really amazing to kind of get that shared. And one of the things I saw recently was that a brand had got a Top Gun agent to come and join their business. And about 10 other people in the business posted the video about that person joining the business.
Well, we've got a thing in our business called cut, copy, post.
Yeah.
So you'll see in our group, whenever we're going to put some social stuff out there, let's use Super Saturday as a really good example.
Yeah.
We cut it.
Yeah.
You copy it,
Yeah.
and then you post it instead
Yeah.
of just me posting it or our company page. It's basically 100 people doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's the tentacles of social. It's amazing.
And so then the conversation is around like really thinking through the quality of the sound, of the visuals, and of the animation.
Yes.
So there's actually some good quality around that. And then thinking about formats. So, like what you're actually doing in terms of that long format, short format.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'm seeing on social at the moment, and we're about to try it, which is like comment this word and we'll send you the link to your inbox.
I'm seeing a lot
to
of
DM.
that. Well, I saw that across New Year's Eve and New Year's Day with like personal trainers, comment
Weight loss.
Yeah.
Right.
Weight loss.
Okay.
Come on, mate.
Kegs.
Comment,
Yeah.
2024 new me or something, and
Yeah.
bang, you get a message in your thing.
Yeah. And so that's kind of interesting. Shorter and longer formats.
Yep.
So, okay, great. So what's short and what's
Yeah,
long?
yeah.
And so I think that this is like, we've seen a lot of this with real estate of like coming soon, which is the 15-second teaser reel, the long form video, and now we're also seeing the sold video.
Yeah.
So 21 Jones Street is now sold, whatever the story is. If you missed out on that one, come and look at Tomorrow Street. So that sort of stuff is actually happening. If you are going to be someone who's going to present to camera, train people on how to present to camera.
Agreed.
Now I know this is semi-controversial, but there's a particular brand that I'm thinking of, and I know, and I don't take this the wrong way, but the way that they're getting their people to present, it's much more, and there's no other way to say this, it's more sexual.
Oh, right.
And I know that sounds not in a bad way,
Yeah.
but it's actually
provocative.
and they're more confident in their skin.
Wow.
Is a way to say it.
What's the brand?
but they're more confident in their skin. And I've seen agents that have worked at another brand and then gone to work for this particular company.
And they've changed?
And the way that they present to camera is so much more accessible in the second brand.
Right.
And I know that sounds funny, but they're confident. They're not inward or worried about stuff. And their fashion is good.
Yeah.
Like it's really good. Like it's not provocative, but it's done in such a way that they feel that they feel confident about who they are as a person.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And about like if you are going to present to camera, train your people on that.
Absolutely agree with that.
And about like lighting and audio. And I think like Amit's a really good example in your business. He does a really good summary on a Saturday.
Yep.
And then, then also too, like understanding about like building that brand and really getting the planning right. Because it's about, learning how you actually engage and go to connect with audiences.
Absolutely agree.
Experiences that rapidly shaped you.
At the end of the day, marketing is really the battle of perception. And, you were in a workshop that I did recently and we said, okay, great, name who you feel are top 5 residential real estate brands. And there were some there that were definitely there that I would agree with.
Yeah.
And there were 1 or 2 that were there that don't actually punch that well
Yes.
when it comes to market share, prevalence,
You're
total
right.
rev.
I remember that.
But yet the brand's in people's brains.
Yes.
How important is it for people to start to think about that marketing and changing perception about a brand? Because a great example of that is that, when you bought your business, it wasn't doing anywhere near the volume that it is doing today. And some of that you had to fight some perception on.
Absolutely.
But your way that you did it is more open boards, right?
Yeah, I think I think it's really important, but I also think that particularly with what we do, the brand is also not just the brand that's on the front door, the shingle that's it's the brand of every single person that's in there.
How we speak, what our tonality is,
Absolutely,
the delivery.
yeah, that's exactly right. That's the brand.
Something that's changing your view.
So, Con, I'm going to be semi-controversial on this, but mobile phone usage and the right to disconnect.
Ooh, hot topic.
Nothing to do with the
Hot topic.
not nothing to do with the whole conversation of government legislation on right to disconnect.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that like you giving yourself permission that I'm actually just going to disconnect for this bit. So I'm going to go for a walk and I don't actually have to answer a call or do anything or check anything else, but I can just absorb the environment.
Yeah. So what are you saying there, though?
So are people consciously in a position?
Oh, to actually do it?
Yeah.
No. Mate, I mean, throughout the holidays, I get when, there's a change in bond, we've added a bond, I get the text messages and I was getting bonds done at 10:30 on a New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
I'm getting them at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I think that's a really interesting one. I think the fact that, that's been introduced, I actually welcome it. But the reality is that it's up to the individual about how they want to behave and act with it.
So Apple have got on their phones on the iOS thing about like the different modes, so like holiday mode and whatever.
I use it all the time.
Which can change for notifications.
Yes.
And when you go into your messages, it filters, so only those people are there.
Yes.
man, I'm still like, I got anxiety though, but what happens if
What, someone can't get a hold of you?
a message had come through, but I
and
didn't
you
see it, and so
yeah.
then I turn it off again, and I just turn it back on.
Yeah, okay.
So it's interesting that the behavioural pattern, because this is new for us.
It is.
But for the generation of kids that are coming through today that are getting mobiles for the first time, they just think it's normal.
I said to my daughter and my son, hey, when because one of the most frustrating things in life is calling someone that called you and you missed their call and you call them back 6 seconds later and you can't get a hold of them, right?
Yeah.
They never have their phone on the ringer.
Yes.
It's on silent.
Yeah.
100% of the time.
Mine is too.
Yeah, mine is too. I got it on the vibrate mode,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I heard my phone ring the other day. I was like, what is that?
Yeah, whose is that? Is that someone? That's not my phone.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important. I think that's the sign of things to come too, Josh. And I think, you've got countries around the world that are starting now to do introduce the 4-day work week and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think the evolution of how we do business will evolve significantly in the next 5 to 10 years.
Do you know there was a case study on this about 7-8 years ago with VW in, I think it was Brazil, and what they had done is that Brazil had brought in new legislation that if there was the requirement that you may have to respond, then you had to get paid overtime.
Oh.
And so what they actually did is
I need you to come back to me with this file.
No, so simple things. If you were in a position that naturally someone sent you an email out of work hours, and there was the potential that you maybe had to be across that on the chance that you should just look at your inbox, they wanted you to be paid overtime. And so what VW had to do in that market is that literally no email, you could send an email, but no emails would be received until 9 a.m. on Monday morning.
Yeah, so like send later feature today.
It's crazy,
Yeah,
eh?
it's insane. And I think, with AI and tech and, where we're heading, I think we haven't even seen how, imagine 5 years from today, how we go about doing the basics of what we do. It's going to be completely different.
Can't wait for it.
I know.